Which one should we be looking at? Let's take a look at the dollar pairs, and then we go. So if we look at the dollar yen, so this is the dollar yen, and we all know that the dollar yen is the granddaddy of all of them, and that if anything that is going to give us a trend change or show us any sign of a trend change, it's going to be in the dollar yen. And just looking at this over here, you can see that the dollar is pretty much near the all-time historical low. I mean, this is the all-time historical low, which is around 76.80 or something like that. So we're only about 2 yen away from the structure, from the all-time historical low. And if you look at this close, it's pretty much similar to the close that we had on the dollar index. It broke below this point, which is the 78.45, and it came back and closed at 78.50. I mean, this is it's a mediocre buy. Okay, you can see you have to squint to see this. So if you're squinting, it is a buy signal. Now if I'm squinting, I mean, it's kind of a contradiction. If you squint, it's a buy signal, and if you're squinting, it's not really a buy signal, because one kind of offsets the other. But still, this is what we see. It is giving us a slight minimal buy signal. If we look at the weekly, you can see it is pretty much the same. I mean, it's pretty much the same. It is sitting at the low of 2 weeks low. So what does this do? So if I have a mediocre buy signal and I'm squinting, so we're not going to make a fuss out of it. When I have a mediocre buy signal, what it does, it gives me a strong sell signal or a very narrow sell signal, because the buy is there and I will accept the buy. I will take whatever the market is telling me. But by the same token, if it's such a mediocre buy signal, it will give me the clarity of the sell signal. So if I'm going to use a sell signal, right there, the 78.44, if you will, let's see, make sure they have the number right, 78.45 ballpark is my sell signal. So with that, even though I have a mediocre buy signal, but I would have a pretty decent sell signal. So if it gets below the 78.44, I'm going to take that as my short. We don't have anything that would imply a trend change. We don't have anything that says anything different. So we're going to be continuing looking at it as basically if it's a buy right there. If you look at the intraday, there isn't really much of a buying, so we should not be. If you look at this chart, all of you turtles know what this is, where we are. This is the 78.27. This is so right there, that is my buy signal. So we're going to buy right there above the 78.70, and if I do, I'm placing my stop just pretty much over here around the 78.60. So I'm having a very short or a very narrow stop. My stop is around the 78.60, and if I'm going to go short, I'm going to go short below the 78.44. My structure long is still the 79.58, and my structure short is the all-time historical low, which is, again, if it goes below this, then there is nothing but air underneath it. So which is the 76.37. And that's when you have such kind of a weak sell signal, you can get a strong buy signal. If you have a weak buy signal, you have a strong sell signal. That mediocre signal will give you a good signal on the other side. As I said, we're going to be buyers. The structural short is still the 76.37, which is the all-time low. The structural long is the 79.52, which is still the 79.52 as we have on this. My buy signal is, I forgot what the number is. So my buy signal is the 78.70. And my sell signal, my stop is 78.60, and so I'm risking very tight stop on this trade. And if I go short below 78.44, I need to find the stop, my short stop. Actually, instead of going, I mean, we can technically go short the 78.40, but just to be on the safe side, I will change that. We'll go short below 78.27, and we're going to place the stop above the 78.40. Yes, we can go short below the 78.40, but since we couldn't break it on Friday, and I don't know if this is a missing data. No, this is 22. Hold on a second, Dave. This is complete. So let's go short below 78.20. 97, and we place our short stop 78.44. This actually would be a little bit safer than doing the other one. Okay, so this is the dollar yen. We're going to buy it above 78.70, and if we do, we have a structure long at 79.52, and if I do go long at 78.70, then my stop is 78.60. I'm only risking about 10 pips on this trade, and we will be able to, it's a very tight stop, so we have a good risk reward. And if we go short below 78.27, I'm placing my stop above the 78.44, and my structural short is the 76.37. Okay, this is the dollar yen. Let me say